Okay. The magic machine tells me that I am live, but I am live from a, a, a Wi-Fi connection, so I don't want to push my luck. Um, it is what it is. Let me share with you something real quick. This is from the latest David Wilcock stream. This is from the tail end of the latest David Wilcock stream, as I understand it, entitled "Understanding the Cycles of History." As I've pointed out, I am on a quest to a journey, I believe, a personal journey. I mean, it's this is the kind of stuff that I do anyway, but I've kind of dovetailed this. I've picked up a thread that David Wilcock left hanging with the upcoming summer, not summer solstice, this solar eclipse that's happening on April 8th. So this is his book, The Synchronicity Key, on his first video that he made, where I became aware that there was going to be a solar eclipse coming up on April 8th. He started laying out materials that was really from this book, The Synchronicity Key, from 2013. I obviously started doing a lot of stuff. I'm into these nostalgia loops and going back in time with this chrono magic, this SSP, TTT, the meta RPG, the secret space program, time travel technology, folks. You just go back in time by only listening to, reading books from, playing video games from a given year. So the book is from 2013. We're going back to 2013. I'm only playing the Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen. I think that's what it's called. You know what I mean? Skyrim, if it's the Legendary Edition, anything from 2013 is legit. Deviant Moon Tarot, 2013. Oracle of the Shapeshifters is legit because it's 2013. Lamentations of the Flame Princess is from 2013. Numenera by Monty Cook is from 2013. Just going back to 2013. And, hey, look, you know what I mean? And we're just doing this. You know the score. We say hello to Builder Lee, 72. To my understanding, a first-time gold medal winner for live chat participation, gold medal on today. We got Jonaside grabbing that silver. We got Tim Frey, hello, grabbing that bronze. But Builder Lee, 72, first-time gold winner. If it's not the first time, it's been a while. Builder Lee, 72, grab that gold, baby. Let me play you this clip from David Wilcock. So David Wilcock and the Synchronicity Key, I'm sure he's touched upon this before. It's the cyclical nature of history. I do it with the nostalgia loops. Obviously, we got Prag Magic with us as well. Grabbing that honorable mention. Hey, shout out to Keats. The Divergent Magic Grimoire. Grab it, baby. Focus your practice. Focus your praxis. Totally endorsed. April 2nd, 2024. Look at those twos. Look at those fours on the bookend. I love these numbers. Renee says hi. We say hello to Renee. We celebrated her birthday on Walter Bosley Day. The more you focus your energy. Last week, this is true. Last week, on I believe it was March 25th, was March 31st, was the 25th anniversary of the release of The Matrix. So you better believe we're on those loops. We're on those nostalgia loops, baby. But to show you how in tune our trips are, and to show you, I'm not trying to come at, look, I don't agree with Wilcock's assessment on a lot of things. I think he's far too credulous. My take on this stuff is we don't know. Don't think of this stuff as proven. Don't take these books, these religious books and texts as established. Think of these teachings as aphorisms. teach all of these religious teachings, whether they're New Age, the book of the law of one, or the Bible. Don't take them as religious dogma. Don't die on the hill of the earth was made in 7 days or 6 days and God rested on March 31st, Mario Heat lets us know. Treat it as aphorism, metaphor. Let that be your guide. And I think that will be the wiser way. But let's not tarry about too much. Let me share this with you and show you how closely aligned Trip like I do. Jonas says, wait, hold on a second. I got to go buy dog food. Make it quick. We'll hang out. I mean, Joni, are you in the car? Do we just got to hang out for like 3 seconds? Or are we like, hold on. We're just going to play something real quick. You've seen this shit before. You'll be cool. Check this out. We're picking up at 3 hours, 4 minutes in and 58 seconds. We'll call it 3:05.
Amlod is Hamlet. Amlod, Hamlet.
Now, bear in mind, look, Iceland isn't wherever the fuck Tyr is from. They're from an island. I think it's off the Sweden. I think it's off of Sweden. But hey, it's Viking adjacent, right? And trust me,
in
Icelandic, you're going to get some interesting places. And I'm going to make this quick because April 2nd is going to be very interesting on a lot of different fronts. We got a lot of places to go. Yeah, we're doing the Wikipedia thing, but trust me, I'm going to try and keep it as tight and concise as I can. It's an interesting day. And the point is, remember this, every day is a rabbit hole.
He is an elusive carrier of fate who must yield. When his mission is accomplished, he sinks into the concealment of the depths of time. The Lord of the Golden Age, the one and future king.
Now, where David is going to go with this is that he predicts that sometime next year. Now, bear in mind, if you've been following David for a while, like I've been, like a lot of y'all have been, this is like talk about the cyclical nature of history. Next year, folks, I know he's been saying this a lot, and he's been making this call for a lot of years, but next year's the one we're gonna, if you are a good one, like if you're destined for ascension, we're gonna get the crystal light bodies, we're gonna ascend, we're gonna have psychic powers, we're gonna be able to do some shit, move stuff with our mind, telekinesis, teleportation powers. But in addition to that, some other stuff that I think we're already doing. Check this out.
After this weird event happens, that's when they're expecting us to transform. This essay, this is from their book now, follows the hero further and farther away from Northlands to Rome, Finland, Iran, and India. He appears unmistakably in Polynesian legends, and it stands for an astronomical process as the sun shifts through the signs of the zodiac, determining 2,160-year ages of the zodiac. Wow. Each age ends with a world era, a twilight of the gods. Great structures collapse, pillars topple that supported the great fabric, floods and cataclysms herald the shaping of a new world. As we follow the clues, stars, numbers, colors, plants, forms, verse, and structures, a huge framework of connection is revealed at many levels.
Also, fair use, fair use, fair use. If this stuff, is coming true. First of all, he's quoting from a source too. So if we're quoting from a source, and it's got free discussion of ideas, not trying to insult, demean, or injure anybody's ego, pride, or anything. We're discussing thoughts and ideas in the public, in the marketplace of ideas. And we're trying to, and transformative work, editorial analysis, yada, yada, yada. And if this stuff is actually happening, it's newsworthy and we're covering the news. So, fair use. Got to deal with it.
This is a true edifice, something like a mathematical matrix, a world image that fits the many levels, and all of it is kept in order by strict measure.
In theory.
Let's just take a breath. Wow, that's so heavy. Not only do all of these myths tell the story of the hero's journey, they're also, as these two historians found out, encoding the metaphor of the 25,000 year cycle.
Well, we got to be careful because what ends up happening is that look, I mean, I love David, I really do. Everything I do out of love. There is a problem here of reverse engineering, because Joseph Campbell's theory, or his idea and conception of the hero's journey, was based on his analysis of ancient myths. He looked at all of the myths and stories as an anthropologist and said all of these stories have certain core key elements, which he called the hero's journey. So to go backwards and then say, look at all these stories and go, oh, wow, they all tell the story of the hero's journey. It's, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, look at this car. Someone must have built it and engineered it. Yeah, no, you know what I mean? It's like reverse engineering something that we know that was built. It doesn't work that way. They don't all tell the story of the hero's journey. The story of the hero's journey is a conceptual framework predicated upon analyzing all of these stories. But here's the thing that David Wilcock is going to have to contend with. The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell is a simplification, right? An outline of the general parameters of the stories, the general outline of the stories of creation of heroes from different mythologies around the world. And when you get down to the nitty-gritty and the specifics of the stories of these heroes from around the world, Hercules, Indra, you know what I mean, Coyote and whatever, they don't fit the hero's journey beat for beat. It doesn't work exactly that way. The hero's journey is a general outline. And there are many critics of Joseph Campbell. There are many people that point out that Joseph Campbell didn't encounter every civilization around the world, that Joseph Campbell basically, in order to do the hero's journey and to tell this story about how all this stuff works, basically had to ignore every single matriarchal society that existed. And there are plenty of them that do. There's a plurality of thought around Joseph Campbell. But it is what it is. But that's okay. That doesn't mean that he's Hitler,
Which, as we showed you, has 5 units of Mayan calendar in it. And at the end of the Mayan calendar, what does the sun do? Whoa. Well, we're at the end of the Mayan calendar now. And Michael has...
We're not at the end of the Mayan calendar now. We were at the end of the Mayan calendar in 2012. And no one knew what the end of the Mayan calendar meant or represented. Unfortunately, the Mayan civilization was wiped off the planet Earth effectively by the Spanish conquistadors. Whether you want to consider them the agents and the assigns of the Catholic Church, or the agents and signs of the Spanish nobility, or part and parcel of both of them, and also the Portuguese were involved. You know what I mean? The Mayans, long before December 21st, 2012, were gone. Everybody's conception of what December 21st, 2012 and the final thing was supposed to be, or what was going to happen when that calendar wrapped up, whether it was going to be an apocalypse, whether it was going to be this or that, is most of it is conjecture, made up for the most part by white people. And as we all know, those who survived, which is pretty much everybody, well, no, it's by definition everybody who didn't die of natural causes, murder, homicide, suicide, or some other misadventure on December 21st, 2012, Nothing happened on December 21st, 2012. For a couple of months afterwards, some people went around going, something did happen on December 21st, 2012. But I have books. Y'all have books in your collection that predicted. They were movies that predicted something was going to happen on December 21st, 2012, right? We're all going to turn into beings of crystal light energy, and we're going to do this. This guy, David Wilcock, his career, and a lot of people, their career ramped up and got started because of that December 21st, 2012 hype. But just like the computers didn't shut up down on Y2K, nothing happened on December 21st, 2012. But here he is telling you that the Mayan calendar is ending now. It's just like Cliff High and Jay Widener trying to tell you that the Kali Yuga is coming to an end now. You can look on Wikipedia. You can consult with Hindu scholars and ask them about the Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga is not coming to an end anytime soon. The Kali Yuga is going on for another 10,000 years. It is what it is. But let me get to where we're going.
Told us that we are going to go through a non-catastrophic ascension, as I've said. This is his vision, Archangel Michael, as I've been talking about in previous shows.
Again, another person talking for the Archangel Michael. Dude, Archangel Michael is busy. Like a lot of people, like Yeshua, you know what I mean? They're talking all over the place.
All of these different geometries have a node that converges at the end, and all of the different hero's journey storylines merge into a global hero's journey against a global villain.
No! You know what I mean? Every episode of Community technically has a hero's journey. It doesn't end with a global villain. It ends up with, a villain.
Stories will naturally and miraculously resolve, creating the tearjerker cinematic ending like I had talking about The Matrix.
That wasn't really a tearjerker ending, but whatever, dude.
It creates a spontaneous change. So
we just mentioned The Matrix.
Physics of our reality. And in this photonic geometric model, we can see that matter itself is made of geometry that can phase shift. So the atoms and molecules.
The hero's journey is how this involves the hero's journey. I don't know, but God bless you. But there's a reason why I started playing this, and we're going to get to it. Well, I think, unless I skipped over the part I needed.
Make up your body, literally have a harmonic change. The very molecular material that you're made out of, in law of one terms, will become higher density.
Say hello to
Your body is going to become different. It might not weigh as much. It might be lighter in physical strength, but heavier in light strength.
Buffer, I believe it.
In fact, people apparently are going to have light bodies. So
Here we go.
said that this is going to be a sudden, highly ecstatic upgrade. We expand into this realm of perfect bliss.
This is the part that I want, and then I'll stop playing more video so that I believe it. I believe that I am buffering because I am on a just a Wi-Fi connection. So I could totally believe that, especially because I'm trying to play also two videos at once. I'm gonna stop that, and we'll see if the situation improves.
Where your body feels very, very stretchy. You can start to remember past lives.
This is the part. You can start to remember past lives.
Those different cycles all start merging into your cosmic now, and you become aware of your different lifetimes at the same time. And now you can eventually be able to time travel into your own life.
Time travel into your own life. There you go.
And give yourself advice about what to do.
Well, I don't know, but that was the whole thing. But was the juice worth the squeeze? Was the Wilcock worth the buffering? I feel like my entire life is basically that, playing 15 or 20 minutes of David Wilcock and or somebody else just to be like, you see, folks, he said time traveling.
You can time travel back into your own life and give yourself dreams, synchronicities, hidden messages, people who show up at the right time and tell you something, Things like this video, some part
retrocausality. That's the theory. Now, look, I'm not saying that we can do that. I'm saying that's the theory about what we're doing, right? Now, he's saying that you can do it, and I'm saying theoretically that's what we're hoping we can do. Possibly, maybe. Maybe just in our mind. But what do we perceive? But what we perceive in our mind, right?
of you from the future wants you to know what I'm telling you right now, to not be afraid, to not be scared, because all of this stuff is heading into our galactic family reunion.
And that's what I'm saying, folks. You know, Hank Jones III, in response to my shenanigans, said, now listen, here's Jerry Cthulhu. Isn't that just a different way of describing QHHT, the quantum hypnotherapy? When I went on my session with Hank Jones III, he considered himself the rebel of QHHT. And I think what his essential teaching to me was that even though I was coming at David Wilcock and coming at the guy that sued me hard, was that I was connected to these people. That we were all connected. And I also want to point out, he's saying this could be non-catastrophic, but in the first video that he made about the April 8th thing, he was saying this could be terrible things. And he's saying this all be this connection to the galactic family, but he's also the guy that's saying that people are going to be arrested and go off to Guantanamo Bay, and he's supporting Donald Trump. That's what I say about people who support Donald Trump. Hey, listen, if you want to support Donald Trump as a politician, support Donald Trump as a politician. But it's when people act as though it's love and light and that these people are going to go to Guantanamo Bay and it's going to be you know what I mean? And like, that's like, and it's this cabal thing. Like, if you read the synchronicity key, it doesn't make, it's like people that say that they're Christians and they love everybody and Jesus Christ is love. But if you don't worship God, you go to hell. And then David Wilcock is going to say, oh, no, that's not really the teaching. It's this, that, and the other thing. But then if you hear what he says about what's going to happen to people in the cabal, it's like, it doesn't make sense. But maybe that's just me in my limited understanding judging David. So maybe I shouldn't be like that. It is what it is, right? But that's the thing, right? What are you going to do? Listen. So we're on this massive mind trip. Number one, I said I wasn't going to buy any more tarot cards. I lied to somebody. So the first things first, we got that little clip of David Wilcock. The Deviant Moon Tarot from 2013. Doing everything 2013 style. I didn't have to buy more cards. I've got a card deck from 2013, 2011, reprinted in 2013. And that I did. Look at this. The Queen of Wands, a seeming contradiction. Now, look, the Deviant Moon Tarot, I think, was good for us to use because I think there's some people that might consider our team to be verboten, to be bad people. There is no bad people. There are no enemies. Right? It's like that movie with about the Italian chiropractor, Jacob's Ladder. You know, sometimes the demons, if you look at them, they're just angels trying to set you free. The Queen of Wands. The seemingly outer gods of H.P. Lovecraft's mythos that we may encounter may blow our minds and therefore be described, or we may run to the idea that they are horrifying, in the same way that on the threshold of death, we may run to the idea that death is terrifying. Who then shall suffer? What is suffering? Let your mind be blown. I blew myself once. Is the master a wizard or a fool? That's not how it goes. Is the master a wise man or a fool? Blow thyself. We also say hello to Susan Potter Thomas. Long time no see. Pimp Bisquick, that calls for a spoiler alert. Come on now. What are we doing? Jeez Louise. Spoilers. Yeah, come on now. Talk about a metaphysical troll. Listen. Tell me if this look, the YouTube made me buffer. Let's see how we do with just a Wikipedia page. This sometimes gets horrific, but sometimes not. I've looked through the Wikipedia entry on April 2nd. Jerry Cthulhu, it's like 40 years old. Tell that to Einstein. Time is an illusion, man. Somewhere, some kid just dropped acid and loaded Jacob's Ladder into the DVD player while simultaneously watching CW Chanter on YouTube. And you just fucking ruined it. Or did we make it better? Hey, kid. He's not dead. These guys are just fucking with you. Meanwhile, what's really crazy is you just dropped acid, started Jacob's Ladder while simultaneously watching me, and I started talking about you dropping acid. Now that, whoa. I mean, even if he is dead, he's not. I mean, Jerry, do you need to clarify? You're 40 years old. And when they went through the Wikipedia page, man, they found that Jacob's Ladder had been released 40 years ago that day. Wait, hold on. You know what? We're doing it. When did Jacob's Ladder came out? Watch, the thing is going to be, because it's going to be like Jacob's Ladder. It's 1990. Hold on. November 2nd, 1990. So granted, it wasn't April 2nd, but it was November 2nd. On October 6, 1971, American infantryman Jacob Singer, the year's 1975, the year I was born. Now listen, I got to tell you something, folks. I had this reputation of always dropping acid and seeing movies on cable, and I would never see like funny movies or whatever. I watched like the craziest like I used to watch like anti-drug movies when I was on acid. And filming began in New York City on September 11th, 1989. Can someone do the math on Legacy? Jacob's Ladder greatly inspired the horror franchise Silent Hill, including the video games Silent Hill 1999, Silent Hill 2 2001, Silent Hill 3 2003. Okay. And then there was a remake in 2019. I had no idea there was a remake. Okay. Now listen. Susan Potter Thomas, I think DW Synchronicity book is getting to you. Susan, you've been away for a while, baby. I listen. It was an Adrian Lyne film. Culkin wasn't in it, but Kyle Gass from Tenacious D was. Lol. You know who else was in it? Was the guy from not Kramer, but his friend from Seinfeld, the buddy, was the lawyer. Lunar Sparkle says, your legal advice kept me out of jail. Fine, it's worked for somebody. Culkin was the little kid at the end. Newman. No, not Newman, the best friend. Jonaside says, I watched Return of the Living Dead on acid, and it says at the beginning that's based on a true story, so spoilers when they drop the nuke. Okay, here we go. Listen, Jason Alexander. Well, yeah, Jason Alexander. Listen, George, yes, was the lawyer. Listen, April 2nd. Oh my God. Here we go. April 2nd. Trust me, folks, we're going somewhere with this. April 2nd, today, in history. Trust me. I'll come back to you guys. April 2nd, day of the year, 93rd in leap years. And remember, Jerry, the solar eclipse is going to occur on April 8th. April 8th will be the 120th anniversary of the first day of the transmission of the Book of the Law. It will also be the 30th anniversary of the discovery of Kurt Cobain's body. But going to April 2nd, in 1513, I'm going to concentrate on things that occurred on zeros, twos, threes, and fives. Because remember, I said, we're looking at 2013, and even with us being on a 24, we can go up a year, we can go down a year. Don't ask me why, folks. So if we're on 20-year nostalgia loops, 30-year nostalgia loops, 15-year nostalgia loops, because the 15-year bifurcates the 30. Folks, deal with me. We're looking at concentrating on 4s and 9s as our spot ons. And then going up and down from those one digits. So we're avoiding 1s and 2s, 6s and 7s. Those we're not interested in. But 1513, Ponce de Leon gets to Florida. 1792, remember, we're not so hot on 2s, but because we're dealing with David Wilcock and these conspiracy theory people point out, the Coinage Act is passed by Congress, establishing the United States Mint. 1800, Ludwig van Beethoven leads the premiere of his first symphony in Vienna. Don't really give a damn about the threes. The American 1863 American Civil War, the largest serious Southern. We got to concentrate on things here. 1885, Canadian Cree warriors attacked the village of Frog Lake, killing 9. 1885. Look at those 8s in the middle. The 88's in the middle. Yesterday was. No. We had some day that was like an 88 we were looking at yesterday for whatever reason. Remember, go to yesterday's video. 1902, the Electric Theater, the first full-time movie theater in the United States, opens in Los Angeles. 1912, the ill-fated RMS Titanic begins sea trials. 1917, the American entry into World War I. President Wilson asked the U.S. Congress for declaration of war in Germany. Check this out. 1930, after the mysterious death of Empress Zwedido, Haile Selassie is proclaimed Emperor of Ethiopia. 1954, ask yourself if this reminds you of anything else. A 19-month-old infant is swept up in the ocean tides at Hermosa Beach, California. Local photographer John L. Gaunt photographs the incident. 1955 Pulitzer winner, Tragedy by the Sea. Isn't it funny? Does a 19-month-old infant ever get swept out to sea without a photographer there to capture it? 1956, As the World Turns and Edge of Night premiere on CBS. The two soaps become the first daytime dramas to debut in the 30-minute format. 1964, the Soviet Union launches Zond 1. I think it goes to Venus or something. 1969 is 1972. Actor Charlie Chaplin returns to the United States for the first time since being labeled a communist during the Red Scare in the early 1950s. 1973, launch of the LexisNexis computerized legal research service. 1975, Vietnam War. Thousands of civilian refugees flee from some province in front of advancing North Vietnamese troops. 1976, Prince Norodom Sihanouk resigns as leader of Cambodia and is placed under house arrest. Check this out. 1979, a Soviet biowarfare laboratory accidentally releases airborne anthrax spores, killing 66 plus an unknown amount of livestock. 1980, United States President Jimmy Carter signs the Crude Oil Windfalls Profit Tax Act. 1982, the Falklands War. Argentina invades the Falkland Islands. Now remember, folks, the Falkland War also figures into the whole black goo mythology. 1992, in New York, mafia boss John Gotti is convicted of murder and racketeering and is later sentenced to life in prison. 2002, Israeli forces surround the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, into which armed Palestinians had retreated. 2004, Islamist terrorists involved in the 11th of March 2004 Madrid attacks attempt to bomb the Spanish high-speed train AVE near Madrid. The attack is thwarted. 2006, over 60 tornadoes break out in the United States. Tennessee is hardest hit with 29 people killed. Now, look, I want to point out something in 2012, because this involves in one of these videos that David Wilcock has just done. He makes a point to say that you can get shot with a handgun and it's okay, but it's if you get shot with a machine gun where the bullet tumbles round and round, that's really where it's deadly. No, don't get shot with a gun. In 2012, a mass shooting at Oak University in California leaves 7 people dead and 3 injured. In 2012, UTA Flight 120 crashes after takeoff from Roshino International Airport in Tumen, killing 33 and injuring 10. 2014, on the same day, 2 years after this mass shooting in Oak, California, both these involved handguns. A spree shooting occurs at Fort Hood Army Texas Base in Texas, with 4 dead, including the gunman, and 16 others injured. If you go into these shootings, it's pretty crazy. 2015, 4 men. Okay, the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. The total number of confirmed cases reached 1 million. 2021, a Capitol police officer is killed and another injured when an attacker rams his car into the barricade outside the state's capital. 2024, Viertola school shooting. The 12-year-old pupil is killed and 2 others injured by a shooter of the same age in Finland. Now, look, let me go to the births, because this is where it's also going to get interesting. Casanova was born in 1725. Hans Christian Andersen was born on this day, April 2nd, in 1805. Emile Zola, born in 1840. I just know him by his name. But here, because we've been doing so much with the cut-ups, 1891, German painter and sculptor and poet, died 1976, Max Ernst. And we're going to do our first cutaway. Max Ernst, born the 2nd of April, 1891, died yesterday, the 1st of April, 1976. What was his most famous work? His most famous work was this thing. Oh, crap. Where is it? A Week of Kindness, which was what? Is a collage novel and artist book first published in 1934. It composes 182 images created by cutting up and reorganizing illustrations from Victorian encyclopedias and novels. Folks, he was born on April 2nd, today. He died yesterday, April 1st. And his most important work was this, a cut-up work. And we've been talking so much about cutting up things. I can tell you that one of the primary years I always return to is 2008. 2008 is 15 years from 2013. And it hadn't been publicly displayed in its entirety before 2008. It became more generally available when reprinted in 1976. We've been doing this countdown, and it's named after the days of the week. But 3 of the days are all compiled into one. Content comprises 182 images created by cutting up and reorganizing illustrators from Victorian novels, encyclopedias, and other books. Ernst arranged the images to present a dark, surreal world. Most of the 7 sections have a distinct theme that unites the images within. In Sunday, the element is mud, and Ernst's examples for this element is the Lion of Belfort. Consequently, this section features numerous characters with lion heads. Lyrians? Hello? Lyrians? The element of the next section, Monday, is water, and all of the images show water, either in a natural setting or flowing inside bedrooms, dining rooms, etc. Some of the characters are able to walk on water, while others drown. The element associated with Tuesday is fire, and so most of the images in this section feature dragons or fantastic lizards. The last of the large sections, Wednesday, contain numerous images of bird men. Huh? 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 Doing anything for you? The element of Thursday, blackness, is 2 examples instead of 1. The first example, a rooster's laughter. Are you familiar with the work of Pablo Neruda? Is illustrated with more images of birdmen. The second example, Easter Island, huh? Is illustrated with images portraying characters with, what are these guys? Moy heads? What are these? Those guys. Yeah, those monolithic human figures. With Friday, the most abstract part of the book, contains various images that resist categorization. They include collages of human bones and plants, one of which was used for the cardboard slipcase that was meant to house all 5 volumes. The final section of the book, Saturday, contains 10 images. The element given is key to songs. The images are once again uncategorizable. That's all, folks. This section with the book and with several images of falling women. What did the cut up say? Frankie says, relax. Listen. Falkland, like in war games, it's never a game. Take care, Jared Cthulhu. Come back and watch the rest of it. Trust me. No, that's what I mean. It's the anniversary of Crowley channeling Iowa. Yeah, that's it. Ba 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 ba. We say hello to Foxy's friends. Listen, But look, that was Max Ernst. But it goes deeper. In 1902, Mannheim Mendel Schneerson, the seventh Lubavitcher Rebbe, was born, who died in 1994. He was the Hasidic Rebbe who some people thought was the Messiah. It gets kooky, but he was very, very important. Not 6 years later, a man born in 1908, but who died in 2003 was born. That man, Buddy Ebsen. He was Jed Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies, and later on, he was starting in 1973. He was Barnaby Jones. The Beastie Boys sang, "I'm Buddy Rich when I fly off the handle," but in another part of their lyrics, in another unrelated tune, Barnaby Jones, did somebody say, "Columbo, we're going to get to the connection." 1910, a person I just learned about, someone named Chico Xavier, he was a medium. He died in 2002, born in 1910. Alec Guinness, you might know him as Obi-Wan Kenobi, was born on this day. He died in 2000. Jack Webb, just the facts man, died in 1982. He died on December 23rd, 23 Skidoo. But he was born on April 2nd, 1920. 4/2/20 to 12/23/82. Serge Gainsbourg is alive and well and living in Paris. Well, at least he was until 1991 when he died. But before then, he had been born on April 2nd. Cardinal Edward Egan, son of a bitch. This guy was a motherfucker. Was he? I don't know. But check this out. He was in Connecticut from 1988 to 2000. He was like, I don't remember him being a good guy. I don't remember him being a good guy. He died in 2015. Marvin Gaye. He died April 2nd. Wait, no. He was born April 2nd, 1939. He died in 1984. 40 years ago. Check this out. Again, April 1st, 1984. He has the same thing as Max Ernst. He was born on April 2nd and he died on April 1st. The day before his 45th birthday, Marvin Gaye's dad shot him. Ain't that some shit? The day before his 45th birthday on April 1st, 1984, 40 years ago yesterday. Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you remember back in the day when we all watched and got our news from the TV? We all knew shit like, hey man, today Marvin Gaye died 40 years ago. Why? Because we'd all watched the news. And the news guy would come on and say, check this out. It was 40 years ago today that Marvin Gaye died. But nowadays, we get our news from this random assortment of fucking douchebag whatevers, and 90% of the time, they're telling us like all sorts of just nothing. They're telling us that like Vaush, watched, Lolicon on his hard drive, or, this person got caught talking shit about this other internet somebody. How many of y'all knew that there was the 40th anniversary of Marvin Gaye getting shot yesterday? Time was, if it was the 40th anniversary of somebody like Marvin Gaye dying, people would know. Because we were all tuned into centralized and codified news sources. But not no more. Now we're all tuned into some, you know what I mean? Even the, and a lot of us, even the people that are like the considered news junkies, we're tuned into this like minutia reporting about like, we know like about news analytics and like statistical analysis of poll demographics in Arizona, or like, breakdowns about military hardware and, some conflict that's got nothing to do with us. It's crazy. It is what it is, babies. Check this out. 1940, born just a year, but sharing a birthday with Marvin Gaye, Dr. Demento, still with us, as is Leon Russell. There's a couple more. Hold on, I wanted to get Linda Hunt. Is what it is. There was some more I wanted to get you for. Emmylou Harris, and sharing a birthday and birth year with Emmylou Harris, Camille Paglia. There's no even persona. It's my Camille Paglia impersonation. My award-winning Camille Paglia impersonation. I know Buddy Rich was also here too. I think Rodney King was born on this day in 1965. He died in 2012. Pedro Pascal was born on this day in 1975. So he's the same age as me. That's great. Wonderful. It's always great when you see someone either your age or younger that's done so much more of their lives. It really brings it home. Okay, here we go. The deaths. The second Shia Imam died in 670. Baldwin the First in 1118. Albert Pike, Freemason amongst Freemasons, died on April 2nd, 1891. How do you like them apples? Buddy Rich died April 2nd, 1987. Edwin Starr, war, what is it good for? Nothing. He died 2003, a year short of the 20th anniversary of the death, I think, yeah, of Marvin Gaye. I think 2005, Pope John Paul II died. Some guy named Fred. And there you go. Now, folks, I just shot through that stuff. I just shot through that stuff. I just shot through that stuff. Pimp Bizquick remembers the Anthrax release. Lunar Sparkles is 1973. There you go. We say hello to Bucky Licious. Bucky Licious. Tim Frey says he inspired a lot of digging of the tunnels. Well, the digging of the tunnels happened long after he had already passed. To say that he inspired the digging of the tunnels, just to say, is to kind of hold Jesus Christ responsible for the Crusades. You know what I mean? Or to hold Jodie Foster responsible for the shooting of the president. I'm glad my dad never shot me. Yeah, no, it's great. You know what I mean? Like, you got your choices. It was 40 years ago today. Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play. Dude, was it? Oh my God. No, the circumstances really ended up. I didn't know that about Marvin Gaye, but I love some of his songs. There you go. The Devil Comment and whatnot. News Junkies. I mostly follow true crime now rather than ufology. Is there a difference? There you go. From bad to worse, Dr. Demento, Party in the CIA. There you go. I get my news from Rumble. Well, like I said, as long as you're going to a trusted source. Richie Valens was only 17 the day he passed. There you go. I get my news from graffiti and random people screaming on the street, invisible style. I may not know the specifics, but I'm really in tune with the general feeling in the community. It's a legitimate strategy. There you go. We say hello to Charles Williamson. Get back to work, Joni. Hey, listen. You're part of history now, genocide. Tim Frey's memory inspired the digging of the tunnels. You are correct. He would probably be against. Yeah, there you go. He'd be like, what are you doing? There you go. That Jodie Foster thing is so weird. In 1982, Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands. Black goo. Absolutely. There you go. I get my news from OnlyFans. Listen, there's someone on OnlyFans who's like in the news today. What you got for me? You want the financial section? That's going to cost you. Okay, we've got Buddy Rich flying off the handle, donating 23 tokens to hear the financial report. You got it with nipple clamps. All right, listen, I'll tumble for you. Here we go. Hey, I'm already off. You will be. once I get to sports and leisure. Folks, we've been around the bend and I've got a family to take care of. The kids are going to get hungry for dinner, so I got to go. But look, the point is this: every day is a potential rabbit hole. And the time loop technology is yours for the exploration. You get out of it what you put into it. You can charm your world by finding practice, by saying you're not just going to randomly watch movies, randomly watch TV, randomly watch whatever's on the internet, but you're specifically going to say no to the new. You're going to resist the ever demanding pull. What am I doing here? To be in the now. And you are going to, what happened here? Go back to somewhere else. Pick a year. I recommend using the natural nostalgia loops. 10 years is the weakest loop. 15 is a very powerful loop because it bifurcates the 30-year, very powerful 30-year loop, nostalgia loop in twain. We also have the 25-year loop, naturally maintained by societal reissues and anniversaries. We have the first loop that I ever discovered, the 20-year nostalgia loop. Go back 15, 20, 25, or 30 years ago and decide for as long as you can to only listen to music. Pick a book that you already have in your collection from that time, and for as long as it takes you to read that book, to finish that book. Simultaneously, only watch movies, TV shows, listen to music, play video games from that year. In today's day and age of streaming technology and YouTube and such, it's easier than ever. And quickly you will discover this strange phenomena that you can go back. You'll notice the world seeming to go back with you, not just in the stereo waves, not just on the TV screen when you're tuned into there, but on the streets, in the lingo, in the events that are going down. I'm in 2013 reading this book, The Synchronicity Key, and tuning into 2013. It is thought that people engaged in group thoughts and actions can lend each other power and can increase the energy in the room. So if you'd like to go back to 2013, go back to 2013 with me and see if it doesn't increase the vibe. Don't beat yourself up if something crosses your transom that is not exactly from 2013. Just do your best to keep it to 2013. And let's see what happens. Let's see what happens headed to this summer solstice, this solar eclipse. we'll see what happens. And until then, ending tonight's stream, we have the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups. Two men of emotion. I spoke of David Wilcock. I spoke of us being not so far apart. Emotions. Men of emotion. Fire of water and air of water. And think about your emotions and your feelings. Be active. Think. And have fun. Don't worry about what it means so much. To the degree that you intellectualize it, intellectualize how it makes you feel and the science of how to best make everyone feel good. Analyze my sweet science. Think about what it could possibly mean for you, and think about how it could possibly work for you. And I must go because all of the talks of kings and knights notwithstanding, the queen should be a calling. And her call must be answered. I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. That's somebody's CW chanter. And I will see you on the next one, hopefully real soon. Until then.